Hey everyone, this is Elias from Match Media, and today we're going to be taking a look at the 2024 Toyota Crown Platinum. Now, let's see if this sedan deserves a crown of its own. Let's get started. We get started in front, and yeah, there's a lot to this. So a couple of things is we do have the two-tone paint color. So we do have the supersonic red here with the black on the hood itself. Couple of things with this front end. I like the design. I like kind of where it was going. Reminds me of the Avalon TRD that we had. But there's gonna be more of that. When we get to the side profile, you'll see what I mean. But it's a pretty big, aggressive front end that you have here. We take a look at the headlights, and we have the quad LED headlights, and yeah, they're tiny, but the light output was there. Only thing though, it wasn't super clean of a light output in the sense that we didn't have a nice clean cut. We did have a little bit of a bloom on top, which I kind of saw some people flashing their high beams at me, thinking that I had my high beams on, and it might just be that little bit that just kind of doesn't get cut cleanly. So yeah, that was kind of a concern there, especially for oncoming motorists at night in where I live. But here we have the grille, which has kind of this diamond kind of pattern to it, these triangles. We do have some opening towards the bottom there, and a little bit of opening here. We have your front-facing camera, part of the 360-degree system, which was really good in this, really nice to have, especially when the dimensions of this are a little quirky, to say the least, kind of thing. But yeah, overall though, this is kind of what you get with the Toyota Crown. Let's go ahead and see what we have under this black hood. We get under the hood, and we have the 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbocharged hybrid engine, and it is cranking out 340 combined horsepower, and then connected to the direct shift 6-speed automatic, and then to the full-time electric all-wheel drive. Now we take a look at this engine, and I can see why we had that kind of, yeah, the bowing in the hood itself, and that is because this thing sits really, really high. Yeah, I'm surprised that we have this engine, like literally I can do this, and the cover looks like it almost touches the hood. So I'm surprised that this thing is so high up, but that's because, again, we have the hybrid system, which kicks everything up, with it being the all-wheel drive configuration. So yeah, we have to move things around, and that kind of explains what I've been feeling, which we'll discuss when we hit those wheels and tires. But yeah, as far as power delivery though, this thing is smooth. You know, EV gets you kind of off the line, and then the turbocharger kicks in and takes over. I did hear a whistle, which hopefully when I edit this, I'll be able to hear it. But we did hear more of a supercharger whine than a turbocharger sound. But yeah, I can see the turbos right there. Overall though, it's not bad. It's not bad. It does suffer a little bit though, because this guy is so heavy. That is the Crown's biggest downfall, its weight. If this were lighter, maybe less power, yeah, I would be willing to sacrifice a little bit more power for a significant reduction in weight, and it maybe be a better power system or drivetrain. Well, let's go ahead and see what we have in those wheels and tires. We get down to the wheel and tire package, and we have this massive 21-inch wheel, and it is wrapped in the 225/45 Michelin Primacy Tour all-season tire. Now, a couple of things with this. The design is nice. I like the kind of the spoke design we have here, the black inserts, the kind of polished face out here. I don't like the size. These things are massive. These things are really massive, which doesn't leave you much for a sidewall for this tire. Performance suffered. So, well, grip was great. Grip was great, and you know, these Michelins are super sticky. No issues there. It was drivability in the sense of the fact that we have such a small sidewall. Whenever we were hitting smallest of potholes, you could hear, you know, not having enough sidewall, and the wheel really hitting hard. It really hurt any potholes you might accidentally hit. Yeah, I would like to see a smaller wheel. I would personally prefer that to give you a meatier tire for more comfort. The other thing as well is performance. With this being a hybrid, we get a little bit more MPGs. Granted, that power is kind of fun to just kind of go. The suspension was the other thing. That this is a very heavy car. Yeah, it's extremely heavy. And the fact that the front suspension isn't quite dialed in. We have the Sport S Plus mode, and even then we couldn't tighten it up enough to the fact that we would hit a kind of a bump and it would just sway the front incredibly, maybe even too much, I would say. Yeah, that was really, and not in the soft way of like comfort, because there are some cars you kind of, you know, it's comfortable, you hit a bump and you barely feel it, but it just swayed too much on the front end. Brakes, you need to be more aggressive on it, because it is a big heavy car. It feels like a big heavy car, and you need to really give it some brake to get this big guy stopped. So yeah, I wish I could say I love this, but I'm not 100% sold on it. Well, let's go ahead and see what we have on the side. It's got a side profile. I'm trying here, but I don't like this. I personally don't like this design. There's just so many, it's just a weird proportionally designed car. Toyota, you guys did amazing with the new Prius. Yes, I am in love with that new Prius. What happened with this? So let's kind of break down what just looked weird to me. First, we get started in the front, and yeah, we can see again why we need this such tall hood, because of the engine being raised up so much. So yeah, we kind of have that really big extended fender here, which I don't like. This line here just kind of looks weird, and then how it just kind of meets up. Yeah, then we get the wheels. Look how massive these things look, and they don't even look like they fit the wheel wells, you know, because we do have a little bit of height there, which is nice for maybe roads like this, but they look like cartoon wheels being this big. Then we get to kind of the door, and there's this, I don't know, just no real shape to this except for maybe this soft line. We have these kind of blades down here, which are a nice touch. The red and black is nice. That's not too bad. The rear door is just massive. It just looks super massive. And then we get this kind of weird bump back here. Yeah. Then let's talk about the roof line. This is probably the big thing that I'm not a really big fan of, just kind of how it just kind of goes down. And this little area here is just awkward. It looks like an afterthought. I can't say I like this. I really, yeah, it's not something I'm a big fan of. Again, the new Prius design was so great. The new Camry design is just so nice. Maybe giving us a variation of that in a new Avalon form, but yeah, this is kind of the side profile. But let's go ahead, and I have the key fob in my pocket, so I'll go ahead and reach, and the moment it senses my hand, it unlocks, and I can go ahead and open up with no problem. Good there. Can close and lock. And now the rear door, it also unlocks on its own, and you're able to lock. So we have that. I love it. It actually helped me out. It was my kid's birthday party this weekend, and I had a ton of balloons, and I couldn't let them go, so I had to just kind of open it from back here. I didn't have to reach for my key or press the front or anything, so it was nice to have that there. And the big opening was nice. Big door was nice in the rear, but it's a little difficult to kind of get in to the front, because even though it looks like a big door, the dashboard really sticks out towards you. So there's kind of a limited opening there for that. So we have that, and let's go ahead and take a look at what we have in the back. We take a look at the back and we can see there's a lot of little things here. So let's get started. So the top, we get the black roof, part of the two-tone that we get with the supersonic red. This rear window or rear glass, because of the slope, it's been difficult to see out of. We've had really bad rain, and our rain has a lot of like grit in it, and when it dries, this gets really dirty. So we don't have a rear wiper either, so get ready to need to constantly clean your rear window or your rear glass if you have similar weather situations as we do. But yeah, that's kind of one of the things. Kind of probably why I left it dirty, to show you guys. And then we have kind of this piece here, and we have the trunk area. We can see the taillights back here. I like the taillights. The taillights are a nice, cool swoop design. It kind of connects between them. And you have the turn signals as well, which have a cool design when you go ahead and just kind of activate those. So I do like that. Then we kind of have this kind of weird vertical trim. Not sure what's quite going on here. We have the crown badge there, platinum and hybrid max as well, and we have this kind of rear bumper down here with a lot of little things going on. Let's go ahead and we have the rear camera for obviously the 360-degree view. But again, be ready, because this thing gets dirty. But thankfully we do have kind of the little jet to make sure it gets clean. And it's all based on how the aerodynamics is to this. It really, really gets dirty, which is probably why they put that little jet there for it. Let's go ahead and open up and see what we have in here. Now, my biggest complaint about the Toyota Crown is definitely its trunk. The fact that, yes, we have this button that says hold, and when you do hold it, that's it. It's not motorized. So, and I get it, yes, but when we're dealing with a $50,000 vehicle, I would like to have that as kind of an option already. The other thing as well is it doesn't even spring up, or at least this one doesn't. And yeah, you're needing to, yes, I know I'm complaining about little things, but again, super high price point for the fact that we don't have something simple like that. We are needing to kind of resort to those guys to, hold it up. So we have that. But when you open it up, you do get a ton of space. There's a big amount of space back here. So we have the nice Toyota Crown item there. We go ahead and open this up, and we have a spare tire here, which is rare. It's rare to see these, and especially in an EV. So it's nice that we have at least, it's not a full size. We do have, it is a donut, so still nice to see though. And we have our jack stuff there, a little bit of space there, but overall it's nice that we have that. But the space is not an issue. Space is perfectly fine. Love that. There's good amount of space here. But again, now we're needing to kind of grab this and close it, and yeah. And if you want to figure out where to open it up without the key, it is right in here. So there is a button, if I can find it, there you go. So right underneath there is what you do to go ahead and get it open. But that's what you get with the Toyota Crown. You get inside of the Toyota Crown, and it looks okay. Nothing too exciting. We'll talk about some of the tech in here, but overall, it's a pretty decent interior. So let's get started on the door. We take a look at the door, and there really isn't anything exciting. Nothing bad, but nothing great. Maybe a little bit more space for like a water bottle here would be nice. The opening is fine, but maybe how tall it is, because it's gonna hit that. That would probably be my only complaint. But other than that, it's pretty simple, pretty plain. Nothing to complain about, nothing to kind of brag about. We take a look at the seats, and these things are really nice. The finish, the materials are really nice. I do love the stitching on it. We have a different colored stitching. We have this kind of gold piping that is really nice to the seat itself. The comfort is really there. The heated option is nice. The venting option is actually really nice as well. The only thing I would say that I kind of dislike about this is the positioning. So it is a little bit on the taller side, and you can kind of see there's kind of a little bit of a bump there. So yeah, you do kind of sit a little bit on the tall side. But other than that though, the seat itself was actually super comfortable. We take a look at the steering wheel, and it's pretty nice. I love the ergonomics of it, the feel to it. It's really nice and soft. We do have some nice stitching on it, which is a nice touch there. So it's a different color stitching. The shape is pretty good. So this is going to be a little bit on the softer side as far as like cushioning. So it does have a little bit of give on there. And yeah, it's ergonomically, it's a nice wheel. Now let's talk about the buttons. So because there's a lot of them. On the left hand side, we are going to have these buttons to control your gauge cluster, menu options, and we also have your volume. So this is kind of a little bit kind of weird because everything is like a push button in, but this is like a joystick. So if you take a look, literally up and down is what you need to do, and to get, you know, volume up and down for your audio. Now, I don't know, it's a little confusing because that is literally the only thing that is that system. This may look like it, but this is actually a button to push in. And yeah, you can see over here that the next track or previous track button is an actual button. It's not a joystick. So that was kind of weird. And I kind of saw myself using this thinking it was your volume or this, because I kept seeing plus and minus. But yeah, so over here we do have the cruise control options for that. So yeah, makes life easier on there. But overall, again, I was just kind of confused at the usage for this. And then up here we do have kind of their sensor to make sure you are paying attention. It's a little bit how should I say, sensitive, in the sense of, you know, you kind of look away or just kind of are paying attention to maybe other traffic, or just checking like your mirrors, really. And it started kind of going off. So yeah, I'd probably turn that off because it was kind of annoying for it to constantly be warning me, even though I was paying attention. I just happened to have my sight away to look at my blind spots. So yeah. And then we have the paddle shifters, which really I haven't needed to use them other than to engine brake a little bit when I didn't want to brake too much. And we'll talk about why I had to engine brake a little bit in this. But yeah, that's kind of what you get with the steering wheel. And then we get to the gauge cluster. So a couple of things with this is, yeah, that's because I'm covering it with the camera. So a couple of things with this. On the left hand side, we have essentially your tachometer, so to speak, or what the drivetrain is, or what the engine is doing, whether you're charging, going into eco, or in power. And inside we have like kind of those, in this case we have the total average MPGs that we have. Then we have the middle section, which gives you different menu options, and on the right hand side we're going to go ahead and have the speedometer and more content inside. Now let me show you if this thing can stop doing that. So we'll go ahead. There's a way of turning it off, so I just haven't dove into the menus too much to turn it off. But basically you go ahead and you press your left or your right arrow on there, and we're gonna have 3 different presets that you can choose from. In this case, for my first preset, I had just kind of the eco score thing there, which basically scores on how good you're doing as far as like accelerating, braking, and kind of cruising to be as efficient as possible. Then the middle, I have it set to a map, and then the right, and then the right side, I have kind of what's going on, whether it's regenerating or using the power from the battery to basically drive the vehicle. Then because of those wheels and tires that are really big wheels and really tiny tires, I configured my second one to still keep my eco score on the left but have my PSI on the right, because I hit a bump and I was kind of wondering, I'm like, wow, did I just pop a tire? So yeah, I had to have that to make sure that it was, you know, that the tire was fine. And then on the third one, I just have my total MPGs because I wanted to see what my actual MPGs were for that. So yeah, those were the three ones. And it's very easy to just literally hold it down and you can see the three zones that you have, and you'll just kind of, I'll just kind of show you guys really quick as far as like what it has on the different options. So we'll kind of leave it at the eco score there. And then in the middle, we have the menu, more set, you know, the settings, any messages, you can keep it blank, or driving support. And then on the right side, we have the energy monitor, tire pressure, all-wheel drive. So yeah, so with this being the all-wheel drive, we can see the power distribution there. Or you can just keep it blank, driving support, drive info. So, you know, that kind of stuff that we have on there. So with that one, I'll go ahead and just leave it at that. And yeah, and then you can also have it just kind of zoom in to the middle for something like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool. And when you go ahead and you can see the different drive modes when you kind of switch to them. So we were in eco. It does change when you are in sport. So you do, yeah, engine turns on, but you can see it's gonna go ahead and kind of give you that little red in the background. But other than that, that's pretty much it. Nothing too exciting, but does the job. We get to the infotainment screen, and it's nice. So it's nice and wide, and it thankfully covers up pretty much the whole actual screen. It's not like some Cadillac, yes, I'm talking about you, where it's just kind of like this, and then we have that weird wedge. Yeah, but yeah, we have the full widescreen configuration, which is nice. It's very simple. You know, it's been on Apple CarPlay. There's nothing, you know, in the menus, nothing that I've really kind of dove into and was like, wow. So you do have the option of customizing your vehicle as far as that custom drive mode that you have, but really, you know, that's kind of what you get. So there's not much to it, which is fine. It just keep it simple. Apple CarPlay has been pretty much where we've been the majority of the time. Nice and clear. There's sunlight hitting directly at it, and it's still bright, and it's not reflective, as you guys can see surprisingly through the camera, because that's usually one of the hardest things to capture. But yeah, we have that. And yeah, we also, just to add it, a little bit of this kind of bronze gold or rose gold trim to it. Looks really, really nice. Just kind of that little touch that we get with the vehicle there. Then we come down to the AC, or the climate control settings. We do have a 2-zone climate. It's pretty good. No complaints there, except that whenever I turn it on the car, the AC is never on. I have to, even though, you know, fan is going on, it's set to auto, everything is, let me make it a little bit warmer because it's cold today. But even though I turn it on and it always has AC off. I don't know why. I don't know why that's the case, but I'm kind of surprised that it always does that. So yeah, I'm always having to turn that guy on. Not sure if it's a setting. I doubt it's a setting, because it keeps remembering my temperature. Like I'll leave it at a certain temperature, turn the car off, turn it back on, and the temperature is perfectly fine. So I'm a little confused as to why that keeps turning off, and I have to manually turn it on every time. We come down here, and probably my favorite thing about the Toyota Crown is the fact that we have a wireless charger, and it's a really good wireless charger. So I can't really chuck it in, but I can insert my phone in there and it will start to charge. So this thing is actually really good. Yeah, I just have to tap it to show you guys it's charging, but it's really good because it's such a compact area where I can just put my charger there, my phone there, let it charge, and that's it. It's not taking up much of the space of my center console, so to speak. But yeah, loving that. And it's been charging, no issues. You know, if you accelerate too much or it's not moving around, it's nice and snug in there because it has kind of these little holders on the side to make sure it's putting pressure against the pad. So yeah, loving that. Then we get the view button here where we can press there and we can see the different cameras that we get with the Crown. The only thing though is that back camera has a tendency of really, really getting dirty. So because of how the aerodynamics or the rear design of this vehicle is. So yeah, it's kind of a shame that we have to essentially deal with that, but I'll just go ahead and put it in drive, and you can see we have the different views for the front. We can turn on off the guidelines, and you can put it on auto. So auto, if you get, once you stop at a certain speed, it will turn the camera on, which is nice. I kind of had it on, but yeah, that's kind of what you get with that. And then the rear, obviously it's telling you be careful, but yeah, that's the rear camera we have right in there, and that's pretty much the camera. Now, on top of the wireless charger, you do also have USB-C connections. You get this little cubby that my wife has been using to just kind of put her glasses in there. So nice little opening there. And then we get the cup holders. So the cup holders have been kind of useless because they're kind of on the tiny side. And it's mainly this one is a kind of a weird thing because it's flat on one side but round on the other. And then we get the round one, but they're not really big. Like, I feel like this could have opened up a little bit more. Granted, we're kind of on the edges there. But yeah, cup holders are a little bit on the tough side. And I'm talking about just regular kind of water bottles are a little tough to kind of put in here. So yeah, just be aware of that. Then we come over to the shifter, and the shifter is pretty simple. I love this tiny little shifter. It's easy to just kind of, pull it towards you and then down for drive, and then towards you and up for reverse, and then down for drive, and then manual. And then if you just want neutral, you kind of have to bring it back up. Yeah, so, okay. Oh, we have to hold it. There we go. So a little bit of a trick. So you have to kind of hold it on neutral for it to go neutral, and then you can just press park and you're set there. Then we have the drive mode switch, which you can go ahead and just switch between eco, comfort, normal, sport, sport plus, and then custom. We come to the armrest, and it's pretty comfortable. No issues there as far as like where it makes my arm rest. It's nice and soft. My favorite thing from Toyota Lexus is something that I've learned from you guys. So thank you, YouTube. But if you push this button, it opens up that way, and we can see there's a little bit of a thing there to, but the compartment is okay, not too bad. There's a good amount of space there. But my favorite thing about this is, yeah, and you can move it back probably better. Favorite part is you can close that there, and I kind of surprised my wife because she was like opening up this way, and she was a passenger. She's like, I can't grab what's in there because, this thing is there. And I said, well, that's because you can close it. And on the other side, there is a button for her to go ahead and open, and she can open it up on her end and get whatever she needs to get out. So love that. Small little detail, but a world of difference when you have it and then when you don't. We get to the back door, and there's, again, nothing really super exciting. It just works. Very simple, very straight to the point. Again, except for the fact that our cup holder height is maybe a little bit on the limited side. But other than that, yeah, that's kind of what you get with the door. And you go inside though, and you actually get a lot of room. The biggest thing is the leg room. That was a big surprising factor because my kid's feet are really long. So a lot of times if you don't have enough space and he sits in a seat, it kind of hits the front seat. But yeah, tons of space here, very comfortable. Again, that same kind of material. We get the nice kind of bronze piping in there. His kid's seat, no issues with getting that in here. And of course, what he likes to say are his hidden cup holders on there, which is nice. It's a small detail, but if you pay attention to this is actually great, because in case of emergency braking, the cup won't move forward. It won't go flying forward. So small little detail, but super important to have that. And we close that off. And back here, we're going to have some AC vents, and we have 2 USB-C connections for their devices. But overall though, the rear is nice, big, and roomy. We get in and we go for a drive, and I'm gonna have it in my custom mode. My custom mode is my drive my powertrain is going to be eco, my suspension sport, my steering sport, and air conditioning normal. It's kind of cold and warm, so yeah, we have that. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. We'll put it back in drive, and we go for a drive. We can see we have the camera system that shows up there. But the big thing with this is the suspension. The suspension is just, I don't know, it's just super soft up front. And I don't know if it's soft up front or just super heavy up front. I don't know what the weight distribution is on this, but it is super bouncy in the front. It just kind of does one of those on there. And when you hit a pothole with these big wheels, you're gonna feel it. So that was kind of one of the things that, gosh, I wish we had smaller wheels and taller tires, because like I said, you're definitely gonna feel it. And yeah, I'm feeling it. Some things on the roads here, some mud, but we also have some potholes, which, like I said, we're definitely feeling. And this is even in the sport setting. So we have the sport setting set for the suspension, because if we actually go, let me switch it to comfort. Comfort is really gonna soften everything up. So the steering wheel is almost dead. Like, you can barely feel anything. It just softens it up way too much, which is why I've been really loving the custom, so I can customize my steering wheel feel. And oh, that one hurt. Yeah, that one definitely hurt. Let's choose, and I wasn't going that fast either, and the pothole wasn't really that big. But yeah, it's just not there for everyday driving of suspension. But let's go ahead and push it a little bit and see how it does. Okay, so let's go ahead and we'll switch it over to Sport S Plus, which usually means when you have the Plus or S Plus in Toyota, Lexus stuff, it is suspension. Oh, sorry. Let's not. We don't want to talk to you. But yeah, again, this thing feels so heavy. It feels incredibly heavy. I'm surprised. Yeah, I'm actually gonna play it a little safe here with the brakes, because you're gonna need to give it a lot more input, and the nosedive is an insane amount. You put the power down, and oh yeah, it's still a little bit on the nimble side, so you can still get it going a bit with that power of the hybrid, which can help out. But again, yeah, this thing is, yeah, I'm not putting too much brake pedal, and it's activating, or I'm needing to actually put a good amount of brake pedal, and it's starting to activate the ABS. I can feel the ABS kind of, you know, pulsating the brake pedal a little bit when I need to get it stopped. So again, just be aware, this is a big vehicle. Am I having fun with this? Not really. I'll be honest with you, I kind of am a little terrified of how big this guy is. And yeah, super nosedive when I'm needing to get this guy stopped. Yeah, I'm surprised. Ooh, I hear a whine. Not sure what that was, but I heard a little whine. It kind of sounded like a supercharger whine. But yeah, let's go ahead and see if we can do the 3-point stop and how good this thing is. Having to go a little bit in the grass. It's not too bad. It's not the best, but not too bad. I've had worse, smaller vehicles go a lot worse. So we're gonna go ahead, and we're stopped. Let's see if we can kind of load up the gas a little bit and see if we can get away. And it's moving. Now, I kind of felt a lot of pressure going back, a lot of G-forces, and that's because of the suspension, not really because it was going fast. Again, I'm gonna play a little bit safe on here. Obviously, this isn't what this vehicle is really for, but my concern is just really more on the heavier side of things, of how it feels so heavy. And Yeah, it really does when you're driving it. So highway speeds are maybe a little bit of a concern, especially when the suspension is so soft, and in case of an emergency and you're needing to brake. Yeah, that was a lot of nosedive. And the price tag, yeah, I don't know. I'm just so confused by this vehicle from Toyota. I love the Avalon. I love that thing. That thing is great. We had the TRD that we reviewed. It was one of my favorites. Build on that. I feel like this is, I don't know. I think it's a miss from Toyota on my part, at least for my uses. And I don't know. I don't get a Camry. Get a Camry. This is literally just get a Camry fully loaded with a hybrid system that, that's going to give you a ton of gas. It's a good spacious sedan. I don't understand this. I don't. Well, guys, I hope you've enjoyed my review of the Toyota Crown. And remember, find the right gear. See ya.